I guess prominent reactions that I saw last night from Vol Twitter was Tennessee has officially stolen Vanderbilt's sport, which of course upset a lot of Vanderbilt fans. Joe, what's your reaction to that?
Well, it's Tennessee sport too. That's for sure, right? I mean, doesn't mean that Vanderbilt can't keep playing it. They're also allowed to continue to field teams, and they'll have good teams. And hey, I don't know. On paper, next year, Vanderbilt has been very active in the portal, by the way. On paper, next year, right now, I might say Vanderbilt has the edge, but I thought the same thing a year ago, and we're talking about a Tennessee national championship today, while Vanderbilt again didn't get out of the first weekend. So, look, it's last night. First of all, shout out to my coworker, Mitch Sherman. He was the one who asked the question about the SEC. He'll be writing that today. But Max Olson, we had three people here, and he's writing like something off this last night, and we're in the press box, and he's like, "Wait a minute, is that right? That's not right, is it?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Before he got there, they hadn't been to the NCAA tournament since 2005." I'm like, "No, that's actually the situation, man. Like this was a dead dormant program." So, that's not really part of it, but it just the point being like it's just been this dramatic turnaround, and then you win it. I mean, Tennessee is the best program. I mean, I know this is like prisoner of the moment, but like, what's a better program in college baseball right now? You know, just in terms of like you have everything you need, including the superstar coach who also has is early in his career still,
Yep.
right? And the fan, and you activate Tennessee fans on anything, and there's going to be like again last night, the stadium emptied out immediately when when the game ended, right? Of A&M fans.
Yeah.
And so I looked around and I said, yes, Tennessee had easily 70% of the stadium, even though the Aggies were planning their parade and they're trying to get their first national championship of any kind in a men's sport since 1939. Still, they were overwhelmed by Tennessee fans. So that's part of the discussion too. It's just the power of that fan base is startling at times, So Tennessee's the best program right now. I mean, I understand the historical achievement, all that stuff. We've been arguing about this, but now that they've won it, it's the best program. Doesn't mean Vanderbilt can't be great. Doesn't mean Vanderbilt can't come up. There's 8 SEC programs or more that could win it next year.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. It's just an amazing sport. It is a baseball conference in terms of excellence more than anything.
By the way, Texas is coming in too.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on in, Texas. Now, Tony V, you get to stay in the SEC. Congratulations. Just kidding. We'll get to that later.
We will.
But yeah, have they stolen the sport from them? I mean, it used to be Vanderbilt's solo domain, and it was kind of like their refuge, right? Like we know we can go here. We are dominant. And it's still a great program. I mean, as long as Tim Corbin's there, it's going to be a great program. But certainly, the dynamic has completely changed and flipped.
Well, first off, I think this is great. I think the fact that you have 2 programs in the state that are absolutely national title contenders, and not are just contenders, that have broken through and that have won. Vanderbilt's won 2 in the last decade. Now Tennessee has theirs. I think it's fantastic. So, I mean, you can make an argument like the epicenter of the college baseball world is here, is our state. So I think that's fantastic. So from that standpoint, it's great. I'm still dreaming of the day, Joe, that there's a Tennessee-Vanderbilt College World Series final, because I think it would be unbelievable. Like, I just think it would be awesome between 2 fan bases. Now, if you're Vanderbilt, like, today can't be fun, because what you just said is absolutely right. Like, this was the sport where it was no question. Like, it was their refuge, and they were clearly better than Tennessee. They were dominant over Tennessee. I mean, heck, they were dominant over pretty much everybody with Tim Corbin and company. And now they've caught you. And in the last 4 years, if you want to just break it down that way, they've surpassed you. So that can't be a good feeling for Vanderbilt fans. Now, I think there's been a little bit too much, in my opinion, this year, Joe, of like pouring dirt on Vanderbilt and like thinking that Tim Corbin is just gone and that he's never going to win anything again, and that Vanderbilt is now some middling program in the SEC. I don't believe that for a second. Like we know Tim Corbin. Tim Corbin, pretty driven dude. Tim Corbin, I think, is going to adapt. I was encouraged by some of the changes he made at the end of the year. They're getting people in the transfer portal. So, like, I expect, whether it's next year or in the next couple of years here, Vanderbilt to be pretty good, for them to get back to Omaha and for them to have a chance to win. So I think there's been too much of, well, the Vanderbilt's done. Like, they're just done. It's over for Tim Corbin this year. But if you're a Vanderbilt fan last night watching that happen, that had to be like your own personal version of hell, of Tennessee breaking through, winning a national championship in college baseball.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just again, lose last night's game, and first of all, it's can't quite win the big one. Sorry, buddy. Misery for Tennessee fans. Again, the tease, and then that emotional high, and then you fall off the cliff. Whatever you can criticize Tony Vitello's pitching changes and all that stuff. I mean, if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you're hoping against hope that it wasn't going to happen, and then it did. And so yeah, you're just gonna have to eat it, or you can. I've seen the tweet like, here it is, national championships, Vanderbilt 2, Tennessee 1. Like, that's true. And then like Tennessee just won a national championship. And, like you said, the first of those from Vanderbilt was a decade ago. The other one was half a decade ago. So, at this point, it's just changed so much. But I'm with you. It's great. And I have thought this since 2021, when we really saw Tennessee arrive and emerge, get to Omaha, beat Vanderbilt finally. They lost a series. They beat Jack Leiter in a game, and it was a huge deal. I mean, we've been talking about it since then. Like, this could be an annual great thing, and I hope that's what we get over the next few years.
I hope it is too, and I do think it's fair to ask, like,